Assalamu alaikum dear class, and welcome back to the lecture of consumer behavior. Today let us begin by understanding a very fundamental question in the context of organization behavior. Why do some employees feel deeply connected to their work while the others disengage sometimes? They do not show their interest even when working under similar conditions. So, the answer lies in the concept of attitudes and job satisfaction. These are not just the psychological states, they are powerful predictors of the employee's performance, and obviously, the performance directly influences the satisfaction and the retention. So, the organizational environment and even consumer satisfaction are interconnected to each other. An attitude in the context of organizational behavior refers to psychological tendency expressed by evaluating the particular entity to some degree of favor or disfavor. This evaluation is not random. It is structured through three interconnected components. So, the first component will be the cognitive component that relates to the beliefs or thoughts an employee holds about the job, such as whether they perceive it as meaningful or monotonous. The affective component is the second one, which reflects emotional responses such as liking or disliking the job or their workplace. The behavioral component is the third one, which indicates that these beliefs, these emotions translate into the actions, such as, for example, staying late or being proactive or withdrawing the effort. Now, when we narrow our focus specifically to the job satisfaction, we will define it as a positive emotional state resulting from appraisal of one's job or job experiences. It is important to recognize that the job satisfaction is not single dimensional construct. Instead, it is a multi-dimensional, multifaceted, encompassing satisfaction with pay, promotion, opportunities, and obviously the supervision quality and co-workers in the nature of work itself. So, to understand this more deeply, consider how job satisfaction operates as the outcome of attitude formation. When the employees cognitively evaluate their work as valuable, emotionally feel appreciated, and behaviorally engage in their roles, the job satisfaction emerges as a natural consequence in this case. So, conversely, if we talk about the other side, dissatisfaction arises when there is a misalignment between expectations and reality. So, a critical theoretical foundation that explains the job satisfaction is, I think, the Hensberg two-factor theory. According to this framework, there are some hygiene factors, and the hygiene factors could be possibly salary, company practices, policies, better working conditions that prevent dissatisfaction but do not necessarily create satisfaction. On the other hand, motivators such as achievement recognition and you can say responsibility and personal growth actively enhance job satisfaction. So, this distinction is extremely important because many organizations mistakenly focus only on the hygiene factors. Why? Because they assume that increasing the salaries will alone make the employee satisfied. which is not necessarily the case. Another important perspective comes from job characteristics as well. We have to consider them. So, the model proposed by Heckman and Oligman, this model suggests that the job satisfaction is influenced by 5 core job dimensions. So, what could be that possible dimensions? These are skill variety, these are task identity, these includes task significance, autonomy and feedback. When these elements are present, the employee experiences meaningfulness, responsibility and knowledge of results, which significantly enhance the job satisfaction of employee. If we move a little further, it is essential to link the job satisfaction with broader organizational outcomes. High job satisfaction is associated basically with increased, you can say increased productivity and obviously the lower absenteeism, reduced turnover and stronger organizational citizenship behavior. In contrast, low job satisfaction often leads to counterproductive work behavior, which is, or you can say disengagement and even psychological withdrawal. Now, an interesting question arises here. What can be that? The question says that are the attitudes stable or the organization can actively shape them? This answer is that the attitudes are relatively stable but they are not immutable. Organizations can influence the employee attitudes through leadership style, communication practices, reward system and organizational culture. For example, the transformational leadership tends to enhance the positive attitudes by inspiring the employees and aligning their personal goals with the organizational vision. So, let us now consider the practical relevance of this discussion. In today's dynamic work environment, especially with the rise of this digital platform and gig work, employee attitudes are becoming more volatile. Nowadays, employees are no longer satisfied with that traditional rewards previously happened in the history that seek purpose, flexibility and meaningful engagement. Nowadays the employee want these kind of things. Therefore, the organizations must adopt a more holistic approach to managing the job satisfaction, integrating the psychological, social and structural factors. At this stage, it is also important to distinguish between job satisfaction and obviously the employee engagement. So, while the job satisfaction reflects that how these employees feels about their job, engagement reflects how emotionally invested they are in their work. An employee may be satisfied but not engaged, which is why the modern organizations are increasingly focused on both constructs simultaneously. So, to conclude our first part, I must give you a review that job satisfaction is just merely at the individual level phenomena. It isn't about just all that things about satisfaction, about security. It is a strategic organizational asset. Understanding the employee attitudes provide a diagnostic tool for identifying the underlying issues in the organizational systems. When managed effectively, it can lead to sustainable competitive advantage. So that was all for our today's lecture, and in the second part we will be back with a separate agenda, and I will be discussing a case study regarding Starbucks with all of you. Thank you very much.